Let's jump into the first story.
I just want to mention the reason Tim has had pain in his back is because Luke has Munchausen syndrome by proxy, and he's been slowly poisoning him.
Oh,
He's been literally
good to
stabbing
know.
me in the back.
Yeah,
exactly.
Really funny there.
I thought you were going to say
punchline.
because Luke has a pain in his back.
That's also that would have been more clever.
Pain in
and
the
it's also
behind
true.
would have been something, an adult would say. But
All right, here's.
An adult? Are you going to lecture me?
All right,
my
no more
gosh.
laughing. Now
You
we're going to get
too.
depressed. Here's the
Okay,
story.
oh boy.
Yay, black pills.
Yeah, Squad Rep Bowman predicts civil war if GOP takes control in midterms. I do think that headline is a little strong.
Yeah.
What he actually said was he went on to warn that Republicans gaining control of the House and or Senate would embolden dangerous and violent extremists to take further control. Quote, it would also embolden Republicans and the far right and white nationalists across the country to begin to believe that it is their time to not just take power in the House, but the Senate, the White House, and the state houses across the country. We've got to understand that this is a group that has been radicalized by the Great Replacement myth and many other things, and have been pushing for violence and pushing for even civil war. So that is what's at stake right now in terms of this election, he warned. I'd just like to point out that it's a ridiculous statement.
Yeah.
Republicans just did a deal on gun control. You don't see Republicans coming out and being like, could you imagine Mitch McConnell being like, I want a machine gun in the hand of every child? Like, they're nowhere close to anything like that. So to come out and say they're radicalized, but the funny thing is, what about winning an election makes him think they will then move for civil war? Like,
Exactly. People revolt when they're losing in the
Right.
political system. Winning in the political system emboldens a person to keep trying to pursue more victories within the political system.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited about the Republicans getting into power and then sitting on their hands and doing absolutely
Exactly.
nothing.
no,
and then,
that's wrong. You are wrong, Luke.
Yeah,
They're not
Luke,
going to
go
do
ahead.
nothing. They're going to capitulate to the
That's right.
Democrats
Got
and take
it.
away our rights.
I mean,
No,
they're
but you are
definitely getting
right.
pretty
You are right. I'm
desperate.
kidding.
They're trying everything. They're throwing everything at the wall and hoping that it sticks, from the Roe v. Wade to obviously this J6. They're trying everything they can to just throw it out there to radicalize their base. And I don't know. I feel like the J6 stuff is not going to stick with them, because I think a lot of people are watching this stuff and it doesn't add up. I mean, they have this show trial. Don't they have like an ABC producer putting the
Yeah.
trial together?
It's
or something
impossible
like that?
to watch,
It's ridiculous, and people are
So
watching this
boring.
like, is this really a threat? Like, is this really the threat? Is this really? Is it going to be climate change? Is it going to be Roe v. Wade? What is it going to be? A police killing a bunch of black people? Like, they try everything, and I just hope a lot of people are waking up to, like, they just want to manipulate you and radicalize
You see Jake Paul?
Mm-hmm.
Jake Paul came
Goodness
out and was like, if you
Exactly.
don't see why voting for Biden was the problem, you're the American problem.
And he's not like a right winger. And Bowman's actually, whatever you think of him, he's a lot smarter than this, and he knows that he's actually stoking division when he goes this lane.
Mm-hmm.
He calls himself a progressive, so he understands the struggles of the working class. He should just be honest and say, hey, if the establishment Democrats continue on the way they are, we're losing the working class vote. People can't even afford gas, groceries, and Bowman knows that. He's a progressive, but he's kind of aligned himself with the establishment ever since he got into office, like the rest of the squad
They all did.
who voted for the $40 billion for Ukraine.
Yeah, and so I want to make a point bouncing off that. I think you're absolutely correct there. And one thing I would add is it's interesting that someone who's part of the squad, which has very strong leanings, if not overt support for Marxist theory, would say that there's going to be a revolt in this country because the wrong political faction is winning, and not because, I don't know, gas is going to reach $8 a gallon because your average person is struggling to buy food because people are incapable of caring for their own family with a single wage.
That's the funny thing.
But he knows that. Like, the thing is, he's smart enough to AOC. She knows that, but they decide not to talk about those issues. They have now aligned themselves with the establishment. And I mean, I think the funniest thing about the squad is they champion themselves like, oh, we're the outsider. We're gonna go in there and we're gonna fight Pelosi and the establishment left, and they've just literally aligned with them every single way.
Yep.
I think they might start leaning into the Civil War narrative, because the real issue is when people can't eat, when they can't drive, when they can't work. That's when you start seeing the breakdown. I forgot what it's called, but there's like an equation or whatever that when the cost of I think we talked about it before.
Yeah, we did.
When
I
the
don't know
cost
what
of
it's
goods
called.
reaches a certain point to the value of labor, then the system breaks.